Welcome back to the Quiet Millionaire, where we don't chase wealth, we regulate into it. Ever notice how even rest feels like failure? You shut your laptop, but your jaw stays clenched. There's a free hour, yet you can't sit. You reach for a screen or an inbox like silence is the enemy. Ever feel like slowing down is more terrifying than burning out? You keep moving because stopping exposes a hollow kind of tiredness, a drop in your gut you'd rather avoid. Ever wonder why urgency still runs your mornings, even when you know better? You catch yourself checking numbers before your feet hit the floor, your breath shallow, your mind searching for problems before coffee. Today, we're not talking mindset. We're addressing what's underneath your money behavior. This is the pattern. You wake up already behind. You push through work, meals, calls, texts. Pausing feels unsafe, as if value only exists in the doing. Even weekends have an edge. If you're not building, you're eroding. The body learns this. Your nervous system gets stuck on high alert. The cost is ongoing. Sleep doesn't repair. Joy feels like distraction. And every achievement gets swallowed by the next wave of pressure. Let that land. This is not brokenness, it's adaptation. Your system believes effort equals survival. But here's what I want you to try. Notice the urge to speed up. No shame, no fix, just notice, because the first shift is always awareness. We don't override, we listen. We don't have to earn stillness, we let capacity build in the quiet. That's the discipline. Here's the sabotage pattern. Somewhere along the line, you started carrying your business and your identity like you were on a battlefield, not a garden. The days blur, your effort gets tighter, not clearer. You wake up in the morning, and before you even notice your breath, the mind is already tallying what you haven't done yet. It's automatic. You call it discipline, but it's just early stage panic with a different name. Nobody told you that work could become theater, the strain in your neck while answering emails at red lights, that feeling of mild guilt when you see your friends launch before breakfast and suddenly you're behind, but you haven't even sat up in bed yet. There's collapse in your gut, but you call it motivation, checking Slack at dinner, keeping your phone on in the shower, apologizing for replying late, as if protecting your sanity is a breach of contract. You justify it because somewhere you learned that exhaustion equals progress. Outworking the fear is easier than admitting it's there at all. The truth is, most people in your seat have normalized burnout, called it ambition. The real story: you've been investing in depletion, not building wealth, building survival strategies brick by brick. You want to feel safe, and so you overwork, hoping it buys you a guarantee you know doesn't exist. This private tug of never enough, it leaks everywhere, into the way you set boundaries with clients, into how quick you are to say yes when every part of you needs to say no. A simple money decision, a pay raise, a rate negotiation, or even a refund somehow blooms into a crisis. Because it's not about the number. It's about whether you believe you have the right to want less strain. Even your closest relationships, you can't relax. The story of not enough is running in the background, and it costs you presence you can't get back. Now that we see it, let's shift. You've heard that rest is the opposite of work. That rest means stepping away from the process of building wealth, as if rest is the interruption. The new rule is quieter, but truer. Rest is an active component of wealth creation. Rest is a resource, just as real, just as required as money in the bank or clients on the calendar. Here's what you already know. When you ignore rest, you notice it, but only when it's too late. Only when your mind scrambles, when decisiveness turns into indecision. When you wake up to new costs from decisions made in burnout. It doesn't feel dramatic in the moment, but the pattern is there. Each time you work through exhaustion, choices narrow and mistakes multiply. Let that land. Think of it this way: a blade that's never sharpened won't serve long. Every useful tool, your kitchen knife, your garden spade, even your phone, needs downtime to recharge or repair. Dull persistence is not discipline. It's slow erosion disguised as commitment. Sharpen the blade, and suddenly each cut is easier, cleaner, more precise. Your nervous system, your attention, your sense of timing. These are tools. If you skip recovery, efficiency disappears. You have to build quiet, sharpening routines, not wait for a total breakdown to force one. This is where most people get stuck. They tell themselves they'll rest once things are handled, or they treat rest as a guilty pleasure. But here's what actually shifts. You notice in the space created by rest, where your money was leaking, you spot the conversations you used to avoid, the spending that slipped by unnoticed, the deals you almost took from fear. Pausing is not lost time. It reroutes resources, protects clarity, and multiplies capacity. That is the discipline. Anchor this once. Repeat when it wobbles. Quiet wealth builds when the operator is sharp every day. A rested system becomes a discerning system. Over time, safety replaces urgency. Options become visible again. Financial clarity doesn't arrive after another sprint. It lands in a body that is ready to see it. Most of you spend years learning how to build, focusing on tactics, numbers, and outcomes. You out-prepare, outwork, and outpace the hidden layer. It's not about capability or strategy. It is about this. You race still trying to prove you ray allowed to receive. Imagine this. There's a founder named Alex. Alex built something real. Clients pay. The business delivers. Yet, every Saturday, Alex is haunted by a tension that won't leave. If the inbox is calm, Alex finds more things to fix. If revenue looks solid, Alex moves the target. The habit is wired deep. If I'm not earning this actively, relentlessly, it will disappear. So you see Alex at dinner, phone on the table, scrolling numbers and DMIs under the surface. Partners and friends laugh, but he's not in the room. The win has happened, but the body never got the memo. That's the cost of living to prove. You might have the money, but enjoyment never lands. You already know this. The exhaustion isn't just mental, it's nervous system strain. The script says, only through effort, strain, vigilance, can I be worthy of ease. That's why rest feels criminal. That's why spending on pleasure looks like sabotage, even when the balance is fine. This isn't theory. This is your nervous system adapting. Your body is trained to lock the door. Just as opportunity knocks, receiving is not an event. It's a permission slip your body never signed. Most men and women in your seat can explain wealth with their brain, but can't he feel safe around having it? Here's what I want you to try. Notice the next time silence shows up after a client pays or a project ends. Stay there. Don't fix. Don't move the bar. Let yourself be bored with enough. Let the wind land, no matter how small. That's the discipline. Wealth is permitted. Let's flip this. Most people believe enough is a finish line, a bigger number, a bigger score. They wait for a certain week or a milestone in their bank, but that number keeps shifting. The bar moves every time you get close. This is not a personal flaw, it's a nervous system always tracking for threat instead of safety. The mind says more than you can stop, but the body never gets permission to settle. So you never feel done. The urge to check one more transaction, one more potential deal doesn't relax. This is the nervous system in hyper-alert mode. Let that land. Try this instead. Anchor enough as a physiological state, not a calculation, a presence. For me, it shows up in a steady jaw, slower exhale, hands open on the table. Small signals that my system is not bracing for the next thing. When clients start practicing this, the work shifts. Instead of chasing the next uptick, they notice their shoulders drop after a day's work. They stop optimizing every second, allow a moment to track the room, their surroundings, not the numbers. The result is that creativity returns. Ideas land softer and sharper. Decision-making isn't reactive. When you stop scanning for the new gap, the mind recovers margin and vision. That's the paradox. As your system rests, options multiply. Scarcity gets quieter, generosity grows, and you not because you hit some metric, but because the chase is paused. Here's where most people get stuck. They try to anchor enough as a mantra instead of a physical state. It's not about saying, I have enough. It's about tracking how your body feels when you do. Is your breath shallow, Are your eyes still darting to the clock or the screen? If the system is braced, no number will solve that. If your system slows even for a minute, you start teaching your nervous system safety. This isn't a fix, it's a frame. Anchor this once. Repeat whenever urgency spikes. Over time, being regulated becomes your new baseline. Wealth moves through people who know how to rest at the right time. Build that capacity. That's the discipline. You've felt the 3 shifts by now. Rest is not downtime. It is the reset. That keeps your system steady. Receiving has nothing to do with earning more approval. Enough isn't a target. It's the baseline your body chooses every day. Here's where the ground actually settles. I give myself room to stop, so my mind and body remember what steadiness feels like. Settling the pace is not a loss. It is a return. I let slowness rewrite the story of productivity. This is nervous system literacy, not performance. I accept what comes toward me without bracing or deflecting. I do not harden when I receive. I let support stay. Safety is not a badge. It's how my chest unclenches in real time. I release the reflex that ties sufficiency to numbers. I let enough start at breath level, not bank account. I stand inside enoughness, even as the world argues for more. I remember, my value isn't proven in exhaustion. I can meet my day without defense. I let stability register in my schedule, in how I eat, in how I meet a project's end. I close my laptop when I say I will. I keep my word to myself more times than not. If this shows up in your week, pause there. Quiet wealth is built on capacity. Quiet wealth is built on capacity. Quiet wealth is built on capacity.